Okay, so you've already gone through the information on selecting a project for this module. This module, you're going to continue to build on this as you go to each lesson. You're going to add more content to this document, so you're just going to be working on a single document throughout this module. So I picked a title. I'm going to do a lesson for students to explore our state, Nevada. I brainstormed the section headings I want to have in my document, and I'm ready to start doing some formatting here so that I can create a table of contents that will allow me to jump to these different section headings very quickly. So I like table of contents because I hate scrolling through multiple pages back and forth. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is my title. I'm going to start using something that's called text styles or paragraph styles. So that's under the pull-down menu, normal text. You'll see some options here. We're going to explore those. You can also find those under the format menu, paragraph and styles. You see there's a few more items there. All right, so I'm going to select the title, and I'm going to center it, use my alignment tool. And then I'm going to select a style for my sections. I have several to choose from. The key is just be consistent as you move through your document. If you decide to use heading 1, for the most part, use heading 1 all the time. I am going to put the student directions as heading 2 so that you can see what happens when I create my table of content. But so there is a place for having different heading styles within your document if you so choose. I can actually select more than one of them at a time. All right, so let's go ahead and insert a table of contents. A table of contents would be at the beginning of your document. You can use your quick method of getting a table of contents, or find it under the insert menu. You have two options, with page numbers and without. I'm going to select the with page numbers. And you can see it automatically created links to those sections of the document. Now, right now, I'm only on 2 pages, but as I add content, that's going to grow, and I could end up with 3, 4, 5-page document here. So that's why I want to encourage you to use this table of contents. Actually, it's required for this module. Now, there's a couple things I can do. Oh, do you notice that student directions is indented? And remember, this one is formatted as heading 1, where this one is heading 2. If I want it to be indented, that's great. Otherwise, I can go back and just change it to heading 1. And then when I make any changes to my table, I'll update it so that I can see what it's looking like. There's a couple other things. This is your pretty standard Arial font. Some of you might want to do something different. I'll show you a couple cool things you can do. So if I want to choose a different font style, and just be careful that it's readable. Everything needs to be, in a style that students can easily read. But you can do some things and change up the color scheme if you want. And then if I want to apply this to the other headings, I can just go up to heading 1, and one of the options is update heading 1 to match. And you'll notice it updated each one that I had already formatted using that style. So pretty cool, pretty quick also. You can also update the actual table of contents. This didn't used to work, but it does now. Can't remember what I used. Oh, yeah. And if I want to change the size of it, I can. And also if I want to keep, a color scheme going, I could do that. So those are some options. Those aren't required. But those are options that you can use. So my table of contents is done. And so when I'm ready to type in information about turn-in, now you notice it's set to heading 1. So make sure that you go back and change that to normal text before you start. If I start typing now, so let me just type some text there, and I don't change that to normal text. Watch what happens when I update the table of contents. All of that information shows up there. So I just jump down here, select, change to normal text, and then when I update my table of contents, it will no longer show. That's also why I use the table feature here. If I used, let's say, heading 1 here, and then I updated my table of contents, it would show up in my table of contents. So I'm going to use add the title feature, and then it won't show in the table of contents. So just a few tips as you start working with table of contents. They're pretty easy once you get a feeling for it. So if you see extra text there that you don't want, jump down to that section. It's probably because it needs to be set to normal. And the reason this was not set to normal is because, remember, I selected those last 4 and I applied that text style, and so it applied it to the blank lines in between. So the same thing is true if you try to add content on the same line that's been formatted as heading 1. The heading 1 applies to this text also. So again, be aware that that's how that happens in your table of contents. So the best thing to do is, if you don't want that on your table of contents, do a hard return, put it on its own line, put it back to normal text, and then continue creating your content. All right, so that's the first part, is table of contents. The second part of this lesson is adding information at the top, very top of the page. Is it called? The sections or areas in any kind of a word processing program. Microsoft Word has them. They're called headers. That's the space that's at the top of a document that's outside the 1-inch margin. And at the bottom, they are called footers. So at the top for headers, anything up here shows up on every page in your document. So if you want, you can type in here whatever you want, whatever fits your lesson. If you want the student name, you want the students to put their name, put it up there. If you want to put your name, if you want to put the unit lesson number up there, name up there, that's fine. And so if I scroll down, you'll see it shows up on each page. So that's a header. A footer is at the bottom. And for this lesson, I would like you to use the page information and number your pages. And you do have an option here for different first page, so explore that. So I'm going to do page numbers. I have a choice of some things here. I do want it in the footer for this assignment. And I like to add extra text here so that it says page 1. And then I might do dash. And I can insert under page numbers, insert menu, page numbers, the page count. So that's page 1 of 2. And if I scroll down here, it's page 2 of 2. So I like that too. If you haven't ever worked with headers and footers, here's a great opportunity to do so. So that's our first lesson in this module. The next lesson is you're going to continue to build and demonstrate skills and build content so that when you're done, you have a working lesson that you can use with your students, or a document that you can use with your staff. Take care and reach out if you have any questions.